In this video, I'm going to show you several functions that deal with set operations. The very first one I'm going to show you is the union operator. What the union operator will do is give you back a vector that contains all the elements that are in at least one of the given vectors. So in this case, I have two vectors already set up, x and y. They're both character vectors, just easier to look at them. And one's got fh and l, the other one's got qh, y, and e. And so if I want to take the union of these two things, I want to make a new vector that has everything that shows up at least once. So I'll just do union of x and y. And what I get back is FHL, Q, Y, E. So it starts out with X and goes, oh, I need F, H, and L. Then it goes over to Y and says, yes, I need Q. Don't need H because I already have it. Then I'll take Y and E. So it gives me a new vector that contains all the things that show up at least once in either one of these vectors. Now there's another one of these called intersect. And what this will do is give me a vector back that has all elements that show up in both of these vectors. So if I look at both of these vectors, the only thing that shows up in both of them is h. So what this should give me back is just a vector consisting of just h. And that's what it does. So it's going to give me all elements that show up in both vectors. Next thing I have is one called set difference. Right? And what this is going to do is it's going to take whatever the first vector is I give it, and it's going to subtract away all the elements that happen to show up in the other vector. So if I look at this, I got x consists of f, h, and l, and I'm going to subtract out any elements that show up from y. So in our case, q, y, and e don't show up, so they don't really make any difference here, but this h shows up in y. So what I should get back is my vector x throwing out the h. So I get back f and l, which is what I'd expect there. Now the very next function you have to deal with these things is something called set equal. And what this does is check to see if the two vectors are the same. In this case, they are not. Now, if I happen to put something in like this, I'll get back true. All the elements are the same there. So I got set equal, just checks to see if all the elements match up between the two. Now you might want to know, not are all the elements the same, but maybe you might want to ask the question, well, is this element somewhere in this vector? So maybe I want to say, is f, in the vector x? That's absolutely true. So I can use this little in option that happens to have the percent signs on either side, where I might want to ask, is r in this? And I get back false. That's false also. So I did all of these using these character vectors, but you can do them just as well with numerical vectors. But this is how you can perform some set operations in R.